Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm TJ O'Connor. With me, as always, Damian the Wolverine Hill. Trash Talk is here tonight, breaking down and recapping the A-Town Throwdown 16 from this past Saturday down in Austin, Minnesota. Trash Talk is brought to you, as always, by our sponsors, Valhalla Combat Sports Incorporated, Ink Shrinks Tattoo, Origin Wellness CBD, Spartan Martial Arts, James Clark Sports Psychology and Hypnosis Therapy, the Striking Institute, the Fighters, and my mom. Damian, how you doing tonight, man?
As always, a whole lot better than you.
That's fair. That's
Man,
fair.
I guess what we're here for tonight is what you said, the breakdown of the A-Town Throwdown that went down in Austin. And I usually post the results live at the fights, but I was a little bit preoccupied doing some ring announcing for whatever reason. They thought I was good enough and only swore twice, so that was fucking good. And yeah, could you give us a rundown of the card and the results of the fights, if you would, you whole ass mofo?
For you, absolutely not. But for the fans of the show, I will do that because I love them and they love me, not you. And going back to the results here, and they're not going to be in the order of the fights because my notes are scattered like my thoughts. But to run down the winners here, Antez Howard picked up a win in his MMA debut by rear naked choke in the first round. Danielle Majeed picked up a win in the first round by rear naked choke. Dexter Doxtator picked up a win in the second round by TKO referee stoppage. Andy Kiker picked up a win by triangle in the third round. Vicente Flores Jr. Picked up a win in the first round by rear naked choke. Looked incredible. Abbas Abazov picked up a win by armbar in the first round. Jason Tiedemann picked up a win by rear naked choke in the first round. Justin Stewart picked up a win by TKO in the second round. Eugene Flores picked up a win by TKO in the first round. Herbert Rogers Williams picked up a win by unanimous decision. Thomas Vivering won the strap at 145 pounds with a standing Darce in 48 seconds. And then in the main event, Davey Young, unanimous decision in fight of the night, I'll say.
Yeah. Yes, you are right. And honestly, Antez Howard stood out a lot to me in this card. I had found out actually right before the fight that he had a few kickboxing matches, but in this fight, he actually had showed off some really great grappling and ground control. He was on top. I believe he took his opponent down with the bear hug, and he was on top the rest of the time, following really good. His opponent went for a guillotine. He got his legs together, stepped to the opposite side, passed the guard, was sitting in side control, got his head out, and then took his back. Once he gave up his back, he took his back, was landing some good ground and pound, and got to finish, and it was beautiful.
Oh man, no, he looked really good, especially with it being his debut. He looked really composed. Was like you said, just kind of flowing with it. Wasn't forcing anything, and when he got the finish, got him out of there. I mean, as far as performances, it was a great night for the fight squad, a great night for the Flores family. We're talking Vicente Flores Jr. and Eugene Flores, brothers on the same card, both picking up big wins. Vicente looked incredible. That was the best Vicente we've seen. He came out like a bat out of hell. He said he wanted to avenge his last fight. You were telling me that. And I mean, he did that. I mean, incredible fight.
He came out there on a mission, and mission accomplished. I mean, from the moment the fight started, you knew that he was going for the finish. It wasn't a matter of if to him, it was a matter of when. And oh man, like you said, it was the best Vicente we've seen. And then we get on to the Vicente or not Vicente. Oh my God, Eugene Flores. I was gonna say say Flores Jr., but I didn't want to be disrespectful, but it's still kind of funny. But Eugene Flores goes out there and gets a dominant ground and pound. Or it was a oh my god, I'm blanking
Yeah.
now.
TKO ground and pound. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. And oh my god, it was just beautiful to go out there. I mean, I was actually there and to see that two brothers fighting on the same card got two finishes, one by submission, one by TKO, ground and pound. Dude, that's fucking hallmark type shit right there for the MMA world. And I was excited to be there and to see that. And great, amazing debut for Eugene Flores.
Yeah, you can't ask for a better night, especially to spend it with your brother. That I could only imagine the car ride home that night or the next day. That's a fun ride when you got a couple hours to talk things over. And I mean, speaking of the next big fight, quite literally big fight, two giant men got in there in the heavyweight fight, and this was everything I expected it to be. Both guys came out right away throwing big shots. In the first round, Kiefer was able to get a big takedown actually and controlled a lot of the first round, looked really good. And it seemed like that kind of just lit a fire under Justin. He came out in the second round, his hands from the distance.
Here, hold on, dude. Like when in the first round when Kiefer was on top, he started to get land in a crucifix on him. And I was like, oh shit, this might be the beginning of the end. But Justin was able to keep moving and avoided that. But I mean, I was impressed with his movement to avoid actually like him being able to submit the position and like start landing down some heavy ass strikes because he was in perfect position. He actually did land a few, but Justin was able to avoid the major strikes. But the fact that Kiefer had him there, I was like, oh my God, Kiefer Bender, this big of a dude on top of you in a crucifix position, man. And I again, like, I guess I'm not sorry for interrupting you because I always do, but continue with what you were saying.
No, that's a very good point that I missed on Justin. His defense, he stayed really calm, being in a very tough position. Weathers the early storm, goes to the second round. The shots he was picking against the cage, getting ready to finish this fight. I mean, he just right on the outside. He really used his length and his reach. And then what about the double hammer fist? I mean, it was an exciting fight through and through, and you couldn't be happier for Justin. I know his family was in the crowd. I seen the picture of his kids getting in the cage. That's dope.
Dude, that was pretty amazing to be there and to get to see or whatever. But it was, dude. Oh, I can't even really express that because that's probably a feeling that we'll never get. Like, I mean, I guess I'd probably never want to fight in front of my kids, but it might add that much more motivation to go out there and pick up the win just like he did.
Yeah.
But there was another thing about Kiefer in this fight that actually really impressed me too was his head movement against the cage because I think Justin threw about 3 or 4 punches that missed completely, and then probably about 3 other ones where it's like you can see him trying to like time the shot a little bit, but Kiefer just still wasn't there. And then he ended up landing a big right hand of his own. But I mean, this was what everything that you could have expected from a heavyweight fight, dude. Like, I mean, and then more because both of these guys are very athletic and have some really nice movement. So it was an amazing heavyweight fight.
Yeah, that fight was awesome. And then just a special shout out as well to Jason Tiedemann on his fight. Not only did he look good on the fight, afterwards proposed to his girlfriend. She said yes. I mean, what a great moment. So happy for him. I mean, especially because she said yes. I mean, oh my goodness, I couldn't. As someone who got down on that knee, I don't think I could have done it in front of hundreds of people. So proud to him. I mean, and like I said, congratulations to the couple.
Yeah, honestly, I guess, you know, you kind of have to plan this thing out with the commission and with the promotion and everything. So I was actually informed about it. And at the time I was like, oh my God, like I hope he goes out there and gets a win. And then at the beginning of the fight, I think he ended up getting mounted and I was like, oh my God, no. And then Oh my God, did he come back? This dude put on a show for his future wife, and oh my God, it was amazing to see a guy get the finish and then get the best victory of all,
Yeah.
having a wife or having his girlfriend say yes to marriage. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. Like you said, congratulations to them. And I mean, there were so many other really good fights. A couple guys picking up their first wins. Abbas Abazov looked really good. I'm excited to see what he's going to do next. We only had less than a minute to see from him. Daniel Majeed, shout out to him, got that first elusive victory. I mean, really happy to see someone who goes out there and fights and gets that win.
Abazov won by armbar, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a really good fight. That
yeah,
was, I mean, that was really impressive by both guys. There was a lot of scrambles. That's what stood out to me in that fight. And yeah, and then yeah, you said Daniel Majeed. Oh my God, dude! I've had the chance to train with Daniel or Daniel. I can't remember how he wants to pronounce, but either way, Mr. Majeed. This dude, I I always figured him more of a grappler. Like in the when we were I guess when I've seen him spar, it wasn't like he was always so aggressive or anything. It was just he was there working on the movement, working on everything. But then again, I never took into consideration that that's fucking practice. And when the lights are on, something changes fighters and they show up and they shine. And he's always performed better. And I guess I didn't see his first fight, but his second fight I was there for. And he actually impressed me a lot then. I didn't expect him to look that fucking good. His striking looked good, and he made it a really close fight. And then this fight, he knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he got it done. And he was saying that I can't remember what boxer he said that he was studying, but it was basically the leaning back, stepping counter lead hook as your opponent is jumping in with your hands down. And I'm like, dude, I used to do that type of shit. That is you that's the shit. And I just was really happy for him to get his first win, and then against a really tough competitor too. I mean,
yeah.
this was good.
Yeah, go out there against a ranked guy and get a win. I mean, that's definitely a tip of the hat to him. I'm excited to see his growth again next time out. And then there's a fight that we talked about off camera, and you called dibs on it. And I normally would say F your dibs, but will you please enlighten the fans on the war that was Herbert Rogers Williams' fight?
Oh my God, Herb showed up and showed out, and did he look really good? I guess. Could you say his opponent's name for me really quick?
Sadiq
Because
Sanan, I believe.
I said it wrong when I was doing the announcing. I'm pretty sure, dude. Like Sadiq Sanan.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure I said Sanan because I'm a dumbass. But
I'm just cultured, bro.
yeah. But anyway, he was on the receiving end of some very nice strikes from Herbert, and he was coming out aggressive on a mission. And I was on the belief that, excuse me, that he might end up gassing himself out because of how aggressive he was. But he continued that the whole fight through. But Sadiq was actually able to get the clinch a few times and avoid the distance because he was doing a whole lot better there and try to work the dirty boxing against the cage. But Herb was able to avoid almost all damage and break away and then get right back to what Herb does best. And that's come at you with full force, throwing me. Like, and it's funny to say because the first few times, or first time I seen him fight, I was really impressed with the striking and how aggressive he was. This time, it's the aggression mixed with the patience too. He was throwing straight bombs, not really anything crazy, and it seemed more like he was picking the shots and throwing with heat. And it's so great to see a guy like that like pick up the combination of both, or start to pick up the combination of both this early in his career, because I feel like there's a lot of potential there. And yeah, and I mean, and Sadiq didn't make it easy for him. This was definitely a test. I mean, he kept trying to put Herbert in dangerous positions, just they avoid it, and it was. I was really impressed by Herbert, and I've been pissed.
Dude, no, I mean, I agree 100%. I think the cliff notes are the pace, like you said. And I know it sounds funny to say because in any fight, you never want to be against the cage. But I feel like if there's one person you don't want to be against the cage with, it's Herbert Rogers Williams. When he has people against the cage, he unloads. And like you said, he just doesn't get tired. I'm convinced he might be half Terminator just because I'm not even sure if I've seen him breathe, to be honest with you. He sweats a little bit, but who knows? But he just goes. And man, I mean, we know what's next for him, and we're not going to get into that today. But I mean, I'm excited to say the damn least. And then just to keep going with this card, I mean, we got a lot to talk about for the not a lot of time. The co-main event, the man we've talked to many a times, Thomas Vievering, picked up the big win. He finally got that belt wrapped around his waist. Very deserving, like I said before the fight. And he did exactly what Thomas does. The bell rang. He closed the distance before I think the referee even says fight. He's just already in your face. The knees he was throwing, whack, 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 whack. And as soon as his opponent put his head down, you could see he was looking for it. And when he got it locked on, I was like, oh, is he going to go for this? And then all of a sudden you realize, oh, man, it's not moving. That's a technical submission. Thomas Vievering champion, Driller Promotions champion in less than a minute.
It was you put that beautifully, and I was just super impressed with how, dude, a standing fucking Darce. I mean, I've seen him fight a few times. I've actually made a highlight for him once, and it was just. I'm letting him know, like, dude, you have some amazing striking, and it seems like you set it up or you set with your striking because he's almost ripped people's heads off with his guillotine choke while after just unleashing combinations. And then this time, like you said, with the knees, and then I was expecting him to jump and pull guard like he normally does and start trying to rip the head off again, but I didn't know what it was until I had to like look again, checked with like 3 other people, and like, did we just see that? Was that a Darce? Can you do it standing? Like, and yeah, dude, beautiful.
Man.
And sorry.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. And then we go right into the main event: Noah Landis versus Davey Young. And to say that this fight lived up to the hype or what everybody thought it was going to be would be an understatement. I mean, and that whole phrase is probably played out and shit, but it's true as fuck in this case.
Yeah.
Like, especially this case. Oh my God, the fight could have gone either way. Both guys came out there ready to win this fight. Dave was really aggressive in the first round, coming out with amazing strikes. Noah was actually able to get the takedown and start trying to land some ground and pound himself, and was able to get a few strikes in. Davey was trying to get overhooks the whole time, and Noah would eventually get his hand out and land 1 or 2 strikes again. And then we go into the second round, and it was a little bit more of the same, except Davey just he got up. Now I'm mixing up rounds because maybe this was the first round, but it might have been the third actually too. I don't know. But tell me where he was like in his guard, like Davey had Noah in his guard, and he kind of just brushed him off and stood up, and then finished the round really, really hard with some nice ground and pound. But Noah control of the round pretty much the whole time.
That was the second round.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. That was just funny to me. Now, and then the third round was. How did you see that one? That one could have been a toss-up.
The third round, I feel like might have been, if not the closest round of the whole fight. compared to I think the third and the first were by far the toughest rounds to judge, and that's why I'm glad that that's not my job. I get to sit here and talk about it. But the third round was action packed. Noah started out doing same. Looking for the takedown, getting the takedowns, working the ground and pound. Davey gets up and does same. Bombs. That's just what Davey does. Davey throws bombs. Even going into the fifth round, just bombs. The guy, you look at him and you look like, he should be tired at this point in time. Bombs. He just keeps throwing. And like you said, this fight was so close. I know it's such a cliche statement, but I feel like there were no losers in this fight. Davey got a belt and he went home with it on Saturday night. But Noah Landris showed who the hell Noah Landris showed who the fuck he is. I had to swear on that because, if you came into this fight thinking Noah was a wrestler and that Noah's looking to grind out fights, he came in looking to finish this fight every second. Davey's looking to finish this fight. And like you said, when we first started talking about this fight back in September, I didn't think it'd be this good. This was an amazing fight of the night for sure. Tip my hat to both gentlemen. Whether they look to stay amateur or go pro, I couldn't be more excited to see what's next for either of these guys.
Man, this is one of those fights where it would be really nice to see them run it back. But at the same time, I was so happy with how it played out or how it went down the first time, just with both of their performances. Not happy that either one won or lost, because I respect and love both of these guys, and I expect things in the future from them. But I think Davey told me this in the post-fight interview. He's going pro now. Dude, he says that he's ready, and that's the interesting thing to see, he did just compete 5 3-minute rounds, which, correct my math, is that 15 or 16 minutes?
It's 15, so it's the same as a pro fight, a little more break, but.
So, don't bring in the break, dude. I was making them. But anyway, the point remains. Maybe he is ready, and I can't wait to see what plays out for the future of Davey Young. If he stays and defends that title, or if he goes pro and starts making some cash and we see him on the big stage. So,
yeah, both these guys deserve the cash. So whatever comes next, you can't fault him. But like you said, what a great fight. What a great night of fights. Driller always shows up in Austin. It was a really good card. As for this episode, it was pretty great too. I still hate you. We're not going to get past that aspect. For the fans, please like and subscribe this video. Subscribe to Trash Talk with TJ. Damien and TJ, my bad. I messed up. Trash Talk with Damien and TJ, the both of us. And don't be a hoe.
I'm changing the name of the show to Fuck TJ.